Between Classroom and Dimensions, Consciential Tales from School Life. Chapter 50, Izabela and the Answers. Orthopensata Epigraph. If the intermissivist reflects on their evolution, they will no longer lead a disorganized life. If you recognize yourself as an intermissivist, your existence is already different due to the greater sense of evolutionary self-responsibility. Lexicon of Orthopensatus, Volume 1, page 899, First edition. After completing 9th grade at Aurora da Paz Public Middle School, Izabela moved with her family to southeastern Brazil, where she began high school. Sensitive, inquisitive, and marked by deep intuitive experiences since childhood, she carried a subtle inner sense of mission and a longing for answers that conventional education had not fully satisfied. While browsing the internet, she came across a conscientious-centric institution, CI, and enrolled in an introductory online course. It was her first direct encounter with the consciential paradigm, something she had already heard about at her former school. The laptop screen lit up. Izabela adjusted her headphones and clicked on the class link. It was her first time attending this online class on conscientiology. Since her move to Montes Claros, she had been searching for answers to sensations she had always carried, as if her life had a greater purpose, something she needed to remember. On screen appeared the instructor Marcelo, an older man with graying hair and a calm gaze. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our class on the intermissive course. Before we begin, let me ask, has anyone here ever had the feeling that they came into this life with a specific mission, or that somehow they already knew certain things before even learning them? Izabela frowned. She had always had that feeling. She'd often found it strange how some people seemed lost in life, while she had a persistent sense that there was a plan, even if she didn't know exactly what it was. She raised her hand in the chat and typed, "Instructor Marcelo, what is the intermissive course?" Marcelo smiled. "Great question, Izabela. The intermissive course is a type of extra-physical preparation that some consciousnesses go through before being reborn. During the period between lives, called intermissive, many people study their own evolution, learn about parapsychism, interassistance, and even plan their future lifetimes. In other words, some people don't come to Earth without direction. They prepare to make a difference." Izabela's eyes widened. "So some people come into life with a kind of script?" Marcelo nodded. "Exactly. That's called the existential program, or proexis. Of course, once we're reborn, we forget most of what we learned, but some signs can indicate that someone took an intermissive course before reincarnating. Want to see?" He shared a slide with a list of 10 common traits among those who've taken the course. Izabela read attentively. Many of the items spoke directly to her. Self-confidence. Since childhood, she knew what she wanted, even when adults doubted her. Sense of immortality. Never feared death. She felt life continued. Prioritization. Always wanted to use life to learn and grow. Seriology. Found it natural to believe she had lived before. Hyperacuity. Often had intuitive insights about her future or important decisions. Self-motivation. Loved studying and learning without being pushed. Parapsychism. Had strange sensations like perceiving energies around her. Intuition about her, proexis, sometimes felt she had something important to do in the world. Retrocognitions. Had vivid dreams of other times and places. Omninteraction. Felt a deep connection with the universe and nature. Izabela shivered. Nearly all the items applied to her. She typed in the chat, "Instructor Marcelo, does this mean I took an intermissive course?" Marcelo laughed. "I can't say for certain, Izabela, but if you resonated with several of these traits, or at least 5, there's a good chance you did. Only you can confirm that through your own experiences, reflections, and self-research. What matters most is, if you truly did take the intermissive course, your life has a purpose. And now, it's up to you to discover it and put into practice what you planned before being born." Izabela sat silently for a few moments. She had always sensed there was a deeper purpose to her life. Now it made more sense than ever. But a doubt emerged. Since her move, she had faced difficult emotional challenges. At times, she had felt that life was unfair, and that perhaps it wasn't worth being here at all. She took a deep breath and typed, "Instructor Marcelo, and what if someone gives up on life? Like, if someone commits suicide, does that mean the intermissive course was in vain?" The chat went silent for a few seconds. Marcelo read the question carefully, then replied calmly, "That's a very important question, Izabela. Suicide, or self-disposal, is one of the greatest interruptions of the existential program. Imagine you planned everything carefully before being born. Family, challenges, learning opportunities. But instead of facing them, the person decides to exit the game before it's over." He paused before continuing. "It's like trying to stop a headache by cutting off your head. The person wants to solve a problem, but chooses the most destructive solution possible. In the end, the problem remains, only now it's much more severe." Izabela felt a chill. "So the problems don't go away with death?" Marcelo nodded. "Exactly. Emotional difficulties, conflicts, traumas. They all persist after biological death. And more, the consciousness that interrupts their own life wastes everything they've built up to that point and causes suffering for themselves and others. Often, they'll have to return in even more challenging conditions to complete what they left unfinished." Izabela reflected in silence. "So if someone took the intermissive course, they have even greater responsibility for their own life?" "Absolutely, Izabela. Those who took the intermissive course are more lucid about their journey and therefore have a greater commitment to valuing life and overcoming challenges. That doesn't mean life will be easy, but there's a deeper purpose behind each difficulty." She breathed deeply. Suddenly, everything made sense. The challenges, the changes, even the emotional pain she'd felt since moving to Minas Gerais. Nothing was random. She needed to face and learn from it. She typed in the chat, "Thank you, Instructor Marcelo. I think I just received the best birthday gift ever. Answers." Marcelo smiled. "Happy birthday, Izabela. And remember, life is a gift you chose. Honor your journey and stay strong in your evolution." He paused, as if closing a cycle with serenity. "Class, next week, in Vexology. See you then." He turned off the camera and remained still for a few moments, feeling the energetic field that had formed. Some would call it just another online class. Others, perhaps, an encounter between awakening consciousnesses. Marcelo simply those, Nate. May each one find their time, their strength, and their self-lucidity, sending the best energies to all. Evolutive commentary. Conscientiological analysis of the story. Her question about suicide reflects not only a strong sense of responsibility, but also the internal pressure for coherence between her mission feeling and her current existential challenges. This is a clear case of pro-exological self-unawareness crisis, when the consciousness begins to perceive that there is something deeper behind physical life, but lacks the clarity, support, or discernment to fully grasp it. Instructor Marcelo's performance exemplifies the role of an interassistantial claritask agent. Without indoctrination, without paternalism, and using accessible language, he fosters Izabela's consciential expansion, creating an environment of multidimensional support and clarification. The virtual class becomes, subtly but decisively, a turning point in the student's life, proving that teaching is also an interassistantial task across dimensions. Ultimately, the real gift Izabela receives is not only a symbolic birthday, but the reconnection with her greater purpose, her proexis, and the renewal of self-confidence to face the evolutionary challenges of intraphysical life. The therapeutic elements of this case include early proexological identification, inner recognition of intermissive course signs, fostering self-responsibility, and evolutionary prioritization, existential crisis reversal through multidimensional self-awareness. Understanding the value of life and consciousness continuity helps neutralize self-destructive or depressive tendencies. Opening to parapsychic and proexological self-research. Encouragement to note signs, memories, and intuitions aids in gradual self-confirmation of the intermissive hypothesis. Didactic claritask with accessible language. The teacher acts with moral authority and empathy, enabling interdimensional assistance through a qualified assistantial field, even in a virtual environment. Lucid validation of existential meaning, valuing human life as an evolutionary opportunity, supports inner reconstruction of motivation and the intermissive commitment. Life is the course you planned, and every challenge is a forgotten lesson waiting to be remembered. End of Chapter 50. Izabela and the Answers. From the book Between Classroom and Dimensions, Consciential Tales from School Life, author Fábio Klester, written in May 2025, revised and expanded edition in November 2025.